fam, it's your girl Alexandria B, and y'all already know why we're here for our weekly swing trade watch list of the week. That is a mouthful, but let's go ahead and get into it. So I know this looks a little bit different than how I normally show you all the economic calendar, but I wanted to give you all a different resource. So this is forexfactory.com, and I will link the website in the description below. So I come on and the data will automatically pop up on the homepage, but I'm going to show you all how I set the filter. So here where you see the impact column, the red folder is the most important. Muy importante. Your girl bilingual, you didn't even know it. So right here where you see this green button right here, this is the filter. So I'm gonna go ahead and click this, and as you see, I unchecked the orange and the yellow and the gray boxes because those are low, medium, and somewhat high impact, but the red folder is the market moving data, which is what we would see if we were on Econo Day. So I have this here, I'll apply the filter, and then I'm able to just click through right here and look at, okay, well, what data do we have this week? So Monday, we do have PMI. Tuesday, we have job openings. Y'all know I love some job openings, CPI estimates, and a yapper. But unfortunately, this yapper is the biggest, most important yapper of them all, Jerome Powell. All right, Wednesday, we do have non-farm employment change. My Forex babies and my futures babies, mind your business until Wednesday. Look for the perfect and most beautiful setup on Monday and Tuesday, and mind your business on Wednesday. The market is closed Thursday for 4th of July, all right, you know. And then on Friday, we have unemployment, hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, the unemployment rate. We got us a busy week on the economic calendar, even with us having Thursday off. Now, on the earnings side, I think that I saw 3 things that had earnings, so I'm minding my business on that as well. So let's go ahead and look at our futures, NQ and ES. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and kick off our futures by looking at NQ first, of course, my favorite. And we said last week that we were looking for a reject after seeing this inverted hammer on the weekly, followed by a bear spinning top. All right, and it's overextended from the trend line, and this average that I have here is my 8 MA. Yes, you guys, I'm using the 8 moving average now. So I'm absolutely going to look for this to push back up and give us a upper wick towards the 20,000, like 20,000 even. And when I see that reject come in, I will be prepared to then short NQ. And ES is looking extraordinarily similar, but it didn't pull back as much as NQ did this week. Now I actually do, let me go back to NQ 1 second, and I want to show y'all this level that we had here. This is what we marked off 2 weeks ago when we saw this gap up that the market had. We had this beautiful gap up, and this range that we marked off here was the 0.5 and the 0.618. All right, so 50% and 61% of this gap. We see it was respected on the June 14th. It came back June 24th, last Monday. Absolutely respected it. And as we see that the market is pulling back, closed below my 8 MA and my 50 MA, right? We're just gonna take this and go ahead and extend it out. We add us a little trend line right here, right? And I did it to get to have the most touches. I know there's a low here, but that confirmation, right? It came right in the zone and bounced right on back up. Beautiful catch if you were paying attention. So again, I'm looking for this to pull back probably towards this 8 MA. So I'll say 20,048 to get a between 20,028 and 20,048 to push back up and give us this reject. And come on down, because look at the volume, the bearish volume versus the bullish volume. They want this down, my babies. Now, absolutely would love to short this from the 20,000 back down towards the 19,760 range. But if it ends up just coming straight down to the 19,760, if price action is favorable and I'm awake when it does it, because who knows if it'll do it the London or the Asian or the New York session, I'd love to catch it. But if I was to see it somewhere just in here in the middle, I'm just gonna wait for it to get back in this range, because you're either gonna bounce again, as it's historically done, Or if it loses this level, I'm then looking to trade it down to 19,500, which if I come back to the weekly time frame, we do have our, well, the AMA is actually down at the next level below at the 19,200. But let us pray. Just catch this trend right here. Let us pray. All right. Now let's go ahead and go to ES, which did not lose as much. It did not have as much of a loss this week as NQ did, but a bearish candle nonetheless. All right. Just look at this volume. Look at this volume for the 3 days that it was trying to hang on in here. The range of the candles was small. The volume, the bullish volume was just not there. And then on Friday, even with the spinning top, the sellers came into play. All right. Now, something that I am watching, I was kind of like, is this a, let's go down to the 4 hour and I'll show you all. I'll draw my trend line. Because I was like, oh, it's not. It's a double top. Sorry. I was about to say something I don't even want to say. We got a double top here on the hourly. So absolutely looking for this to break the 5,500 and then give us a return down towards the 5470 range. These numbers are so big now, child. I don't got time to say all of this. But y'all see that. Y'all see this pretty little double top. Give it to us. And I do think that we will see a return back towards the 5400 range. Let's go ahead and look at that. Yes, look at that. It's beautiful. We love confluence now. All right. Now, again, if this just, honestly, I don't want to short this at all unless it was to lose. I would honestly let ES lose the trend line before I got into it, because there's other things on the market that I could trade. But for me, this is too close right here to where it previously bounced. This demand zone order block that was formed here. So at the, from the 54.55 to 54.70, yeah, you too close for me. You might bounce in here and I'll take that. But if you do lose here, again, you're too close to that trend line. You might hold that. I'll wait for it to lose the trend line if that does happen. And if it doesn't and it ends up holding here, I'm trading it back up to the top. Now let's go ahead and hop into our swing trades, because again, I know that's why y'all here. We're gonna go ahead and start off with Tesla. For somebody who doesn't even like the stock, I sure did call it. And of course I got into it. Money is money. Well, not all money is good money, but this setup was just there. Okay, I said, hey, watch this breaking this trend line. And baby, that thing broke that trend line. Okay, we only had 2 stocks in the Magnificent Seven that hadn't made new highs, and that was Amazon and Tesla. Amazon just created its new highs. I wonder if Tesla is next. So what I'm looking for is a continuation to the 221 range, because I did swing this. But if you did not enter into it at the break of the trend line, as I saw it, one thing I want to point out to you all is this beautiful little gap that we have here. Wrong gap. Tesla has so many gaps. I was like, that doesn't look. This beautiful little gap that we have here. I was coming. All right. We do it falling window style from the close of one candle to the upper wick of the next one. Right. Came right in here. Now, if Tesla pulled back towards 192, wouldn't be surprised. Like the 190 to 192 range, wouldn't be surprised. Every candle has to make a high. Every candle needs to make a low, including the one on the weekly. All right. Now, if it was to lose like the 190, if it was to lose 190, I have a wide range for my stop loss. This is a swing trade. All right. And we did already catch it breaking from 183 to 197. My stop loss, as I scaled out, it would be 190, 191 range, watching price action to see. But other than that, I'm in this thing, okay? Now, if it doesn't give you a bounce option and it just goes straight up, wait for confirmation that you got a daily close above 208. to round it up. Let it close above this gap on the daily, and that would be a safe and beautiful entry into the 221. We break that 221, we got the next range up. Honestly, this went straight down, right? And gap down all in here. I say 241, and then from there 262. But it does look like Tesla is about to begin its journey, so thanks for putting on the watch list, I guess. Now, CRM, again, this is another one of those ones where we set this alert together. This range right here, and it was, hey y'all, above 245, catch it. And that thing beautifully moved. I believe this is already about 400% play if you were catching it right above the 245. So if we come down to the 15 minute, so you can see that, and this average that I have pulled up is my 8 moving average. I mean, y'all, look at this. This is the previous resistance. It opened above there and just went. This pullback, it didn't come back down to the 250. We're just getting higher lows. This one didn't either. So I can't look at my swings on those lower time frames. So for CRM, a pullback towards the 254 would be chef's kiss beautiful, right? We would absolutely love to see that. Whoo, look at that. Came right there to that 50 moving average on the daily. Let's look on the weekly. Came above the 50. I mean, this next level up for CRM is the 273. But for entry, if you did miss it, just watch for a pullback because it's not making any fair value gaps. I'd say watch for the pullback to about 255, a bounce. Or if it just goes straight up, wait for a daily close above 261. Wait to see a daily close above 261. JP Morgan, yet another one that we called out last week. We said, look at this bull flag on the 4 hour. Let me go ahead and turn on all of these averages since we were looking at the 100, 200, and all of that. And we'll go to the 4 hour. Right now, if I'm expecting a bullish candle on the weekly, I rarely enter until it's pulled back. Why? Because you got to make a low. Every candle has to make a high. Every candle has to make a low. I am so grateful that I waited until Thursday, okay? Because you pulled back. Did I get in Wednesday afternoon? No, I did get in Thursday. When it came back above this 50 MA, right? We caught the 20 and came back above the 50 MA, and you just get this move from 197 to 202. Cool. I know y'all like, all right, Alexandria, so what do we do if we miss this? Y'all gonna be listen, you're gonna have to safely let this break 205. If it goes straight up, you're gonna have to safely let this break 205. Okay, you will have to let that safely break 205. Now here we do have what looks to be a Sanku pattern, which is the 3 gap up, right? We'll see 3 bullish candles with a gap in between each. So perhaps when the market opens up on Monday, we'll get another gap up and a bullish candle. And then on Tuesday, that 4th candle should start the reversal. So perhaps waiting just from seeing this, if there is a gap up on Monday, perhaps waiting to see what price action does on Tuesday and look for an entry on Wednesday. If it does hold, would be better, right? Because this did bounce from this 190 on up to 202. Okay, this is a $12 move up. We didn't catch it off this trend line because I wasn't sure. Are you gonna break the resistance trend line this time? And instead, I just decided to wait for it to break. All right. I'm a fan of this chart. I think just this week is very important to let it break certain levels to the upside because we're looking at NQ and ES telling us the market has a little pullback coming. All right. One being FedEx. I love how y'all will ask me to pull up something that is just made an extraordinary move. I guess I am the swing queen, so let me pull this out the hoo-ha. So what we're going to do is from these lows and then these highs, I am going to go ahead and mark these off. Because if these are the 3 lows that I see, this low came from this high. And this high made this low, this high made this low got to this high. You feel me? So Let us see, because in 1 week, baby, you blasted right through my 254, and a $40 move, insane. $46 move, almost a $58 move. At this point, my babies, is at the resistance trend line. It is prior to earnings, so, or post earnings. The next level up that we do have, if we look here, we do have this range here. Where's price currently at? So about there. So into 318. Like if I kind of extend this out. Let me delete some of these levels. I'll keep that one since we'll get there first. You can go away. You can go away. I see where that will. You come back and you go away. So the next high is this 319. But you have this support trend line that FedEx broke down, and this is from October 2022 that it's kept, extending it out. We see this week it broke above, pulled back, met the resistance trend line for the third time. We got this back down to the support trend line in 1 week, went the distance, coming right into where price previously sold off. I'm actually I want to move this down to the bottom of, because wicks are tricks. We're gonna cut off those wicks. So it made it into this supply zone, closed inside of this supply zone, but it's right there at 2 sets of trend lines. I would expect to see it pull back. I would expect to see it pull back, and it goes against my trading strategy to enter. Now, of course, I got in. This is a level that we've talked about, this 253, 254. It's been on our swing trade watch list. We've talked about it in the Discord. My mentees talked about it with y'all, sent y'all a video on it. The 254 was you better be in and rock it out, because here it goes. And they had great earnings, amazing earnings. Now, typically logistics, especially transportation, in July, they tend to have a pullback. With this coming right here to a 2-year support trend line, and then a year, because this is July 2023 resistance trend line. I don't necessarily know if I'd be looking to play this to the upside at all. Now, as far as, well, where could price pull back to? I would look to see price pull back towards 281, 282, and see if it catches and it holds there. I don't believe that it's going to come back down to 253 because the earnings was great. I do think it's on the up, about to create its new high. According to seasonality, according to this 2-year and this 1-year trend line that it met in 1 week at the same, I wouldn't feel comfortable trading this to the upside, and therefore I don't really have any advice for you. Now, the 320 is supposed to be the average price, which is the previous all-time high, and then past there 359. So this might break to this 3, but it's not going to be an easy ride. Look, it's never been an easy ride for FedEx above 281, honestly, and we're $20 over there, so it wouldn't be an easy ride. You honestly need to wait for FedEx to pull back. That's the best and most loving advice that I can get for you. You should have been in. And sometimes it's okay when you see a big move like this and you missed it. Doesn't mean you're going to be able to get into the next week. You might have to wait maybe even a month for it to pull back and give you a safe entry. The name of the game is safety and retaining capital, and I would not play calls into a very obvious supply zone after it just ran up post earnings, and we see the two largest majorist, you knew what I meant, indices are technically showing us a pullback. I don't know, y'all. That's what I got there. And Pepsi. This is another stock that I pulled it up and I was like, oh, I haven't charted this in a while, so I decided, let me go ahead and chart it in here for y'all. Yay! Now I'm going to do this fairly quickly because I'm good. Now me, I don't care. Like, I don't want my trend line down here because look at that low that I missed right there, right? I see that this broke below it The confirmation candle attempted to break back above with lower volume, and then after that it came back low. So for Pepsi, below 161, I like a whole number. You could say 161.50, but we're just gonna go ahead and say below 161. What was the low here? 161.54. Below there, puts. Put somebody down. Below there, I'm like, hey, I see puts, shawty. Now here, again, I want the most touches. But you at least look right. Look a little right. I'm like, boom, 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 boom. Try to break above. Evening star. You'll typically see evening and morning stars against your trend lines. Little fun fact for you. So, yeah. Now, this is also a very strong demand zone, though. You do get for sure, every time that it's bounced off of 161.50, it has at least gotten to 170. Let's put a level there. Any bounce off of here, because I looked over here, right? From when it bounced here, it made it to the 170, which is kind of what it did in the last 3 weeks too, right? And failed to make it. MACD and RSI are bearish. One thing that I would absolutely do is, if you do use RSI, is to set an alert so that you know whenever RSI crosses below 50 and it's officially in bearish territory. But this looks like a whole bear flag to me on the weekly. Didn't make it above the 170, and I had to say at least 170 because of price action in 2023. If we go to 2022, it made it to at least 175 when it bounced off of here, right? But again, here in 2023, we see it didn't make it above the 175. It got to 170. So I would honestly, it's a very tight range in here. The chart looks disgusting to me. Looks ugly to me. Above 170, I guess, if you want to play that into the 180, below 160, that makes a whole lot more sense to me. Targeting 153 first. That makes a whole lot more sense to me. To look for that down. And then ARM. This is another one of those ones where I'm like, why are y'all not in it? However, let me stop saying that. Because you're not going to catch every trade. How disheartening is that to have someone that you look up to as a mentor say, like, why are you not in this? I apologize. So let's see where you can get in. We're going to go ahead and take this trend line and extend it out. ARM is like one of those ones where you should get into elite. So let's look for where we could enter. So down here around the trend line, if it did make a lower low, which we like for things to come back to the trend line. I can see it pulling back to about 150. Let's look at our, okay, see, that's what I was saying. Like, do we want it to make a, so this 150. I could see shorting this, getting into puts down to 150, honestly. Especially with the way that NQ looks. So I'd want it to break 160. You see where we have this support right there? I'd want it to break below 160, and I'd look to trade it down to the 150. Now, I don't think that I will hold puts longer than it going to 150 unless it did a daily close below the support trend line. And then the next level would be this 125, but I just don't see ARM retracing that low at all. So the average price is supposed to be 125, which we did that in the max level of 200s. So we do want to see a little bit of a pullback. Oh my gosh, y'all. Imagine, and we will do that. I owe y'all that for talking too much mess on this recording because I'm not editing nothing today. By the grace of God, amen. I'm not. So we will catch this one. Imagine if we let this pull back to the 150 and then caught the bounce from 150 to 200. Y'all will owe me a Birkin. All right. I love you, fam. Make sure you click the link in the descriptions below because I'm going to link Forex Factory as well as the new tier for the Discord, which we do have a very affordable, amazingly affordable tier now of $25 a week. Y'all been with me long enough. Y'all know I'm going to help you make that much in a week. But most importantly, I have a little surprise for y'all if y'all made it to the end. On July 5th, so this weekend, July 6th, this weekend on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, I am going to host a free swing trade class. All right. It will be a Q&A. I'm going to show you all how I set up my charts, show you some of the resources that I use. And if I have 300 people on the class or in the class, I will host that class every other week for the rest of the year. So make sure you click the link in the description below and go ahead and sign up for it. It's no cost. Just need to sign you up for it so I can shoot you over the email. All right. Bye, fam. I'll see y'all at the top.